Welcome guys, Gio here, hope you're having a great day, and in this video I want to show you Wartales Ranger build, specifically Assassin. Ranger is one of the most versatile classes in the game, and you can play them in any number of ways, but for this specific build we are going to focus on bleeding and the idea of bypassing enemy armor to directly hit their health. So this build is a damage dealer, I would say S tier, in pretty much every combat situation, but specifically against bosses and against bosses who have higher health pools, because we will work with percentages there, and you will see in the gameplay how build plays out and how we'll just bypass the enemy armor and just decrease their health. As with any other builds, my philosophy is to really focus on the actual build itself. So we are going to use craftable gear, not anything legendary or something that requires a lot of grind and farming. So you can easily replicate that in your gameplay. And also we are not going to use during the gameplay any status effects, any food buffs, or anything that is pretty much hassle to enhance your builds, because we want to see how the build performs as it is standalone, and then you can decide if you want to have that in your party. The only food buff we are going to use is essentially free. We will get it from tavern, and that's what you will see in the gameplay, but other than that we're not going to use anything, not even the buffs from our teammates. So our game plan is really to see a couple of different scenarios, couple of battles, and then I will break down everything into details so you can see how this entire thing works. It's a very it's not the easy build, in a sense that it's not as straightforward as to play. You have to do a lot of thinking when you engage enemies and how you will utilize all of these skills and abilities. So it can give you a lot of tactical flexibility, and that's how it is different from the gunner build I have shown previously, or some other damage dealers like pugilist or berserker and so on. So let's start and jump right into action. So this is our battle. We are up against the guards, who are dangerous enemies. They outlevel us, and actually this is a pretty good scenario that I was not expecting, to showcase why the assassin is very versatile class, and why it has a lots of tactical options on the battlefield besides just pure killing power. So let's assess the situation first. So we have two groups of enemies there, from the left side and from the right side. So we can position them, our troops, into a number of different ways. But either way, we are kind of between these two, so they will attack us from the both sides. And what we can do here with the ranger and the way her skills are spec'd out is that we can position our troops over this side, where we outnumber them, and we can just slowly grind them down and kill them. And then with the ranger we will just slow this group down, if not outright kill most of them. And now let's see how this will go in action. So it's really interesting scenario. So first we want to move in, and our priority target is the captain, because if you check the other guys, they have this buff called leader's inspiration, so their movement is increased, and they can reach our backline here. So if we eliminate captain, then we will just deny them this buff and then slow down this party. So first let's check their movement, and yes, they can this guy can reach us, and they can create trouble. So let's first move in And what I really want to do is I'm going to start using the skills. So first I'm gonna apply this. It is coming from the helmet stamp, and as I applied this, you have seen that we did the throw. This is coming from instinctive throw. Essentially anytime we are going to use our any skills, she's going to throw the dagger, and because this ointment here will enhance our attacks, and our every attack will apply bleeding, this foot soldier is now bleeding, and they will lose 25% of their health at the end of the turn, which is huge. Besides, if you see, there is a small health decrease, and this is actually coming from our gear, and this oil specifically, misty oil. So every time we do attack, we will also decrease just flat out 5% of the enemy's health. It might not seem much on the paper, but it's really useful, especially when you don't have any more skills left and you want to kind of you just need this extra 5% to finish the enemy off. That's good. Now we can move in there, and also we can apply, okay, yes, we can apply the low blow. Now this again, okay, yes, she has done her shot. Also the same thing, we apply the bleeding, and also 5% of the health is gone. Besides, if you see, now they have the blackout. It means that there is a 50% of chance that they will miss the next attack. So even if they reach us, they are not in their full shape, or and they cannot do damage essentially. So they are kind of disabled there. Next, what I really want to do is I'm going to use the nail bomb, and I want to pick. First of all, let's see which targets can we pick. Okay. So yeah, we can only hit three of them. So in that case, what I will do is I will move here, and that's why it is very tactical. So I'm going to throw this now. They will lose their health because the nail bomb is going to, if you see, immediately decrease 25% of their health, and will apply slowdown for them. Now, why am I positioning myself here? Because when I'm going to throw this, then she is going to do an instinctive throw, and boom, now this guy is also bleeding, and he has lost 5% of the health because of the misty oil. And look at their health. Okay, they are in trouble. Now, what I also want to do, maybe come here, shoot this guy, so they are also bleeding. And now I really want to kill this guy. So there are a couple of ways I can do that. Let's come here. Yes, so again, what I'm doing is I'm going to use the skill, and then I position myself to the other enemy closer, because I want instinctive throw to kick in and hit the other enemy. So let's pick the right target. I think tactician is the right one. So I want to move in to closer to tactician, but not too close, because if when I will throw this, she will do the instinctive throw, and because we are close, tactician will retaliate. So instead, I want to have a bit of distance there. I'm going to throw this right between the eyes. We have eliminated their leader. And on top of that, if you see, we have applied the fever stacks. So the damage they will take is also increasing. So these guys are really in trouble. Now let's see what else can we do. So either we can kill this guy, and then do the instinctive throw on that guy and maybe eliminate him, or maybe we can kill him. So let's see what's the good option here. This guy cannot reach us. This guy as well, because we have denied them the movement. So I think the right action will be to come here. I'm not sure if there is a... yeah, we cannot hit this guy. But can we... Yes. Yeah, this guy is out. So let me position myself there. Because why am I doing this? Because I want to trigger the instinctive throw as much as possible as I am dealing the damage and using the skills. Because with this attack, yes, we have used that. Yes, 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 great. Again, so we have killed this guy. We have eliminated 2 dangerous targets. We have denied the entire team the movement buff. These guys are slowed down. They are bleeding. They have fever applied to them. And we still have a couple of skills to use and trigger the instinctive throw. So let's see what we can do here. So what's the right action? So he has too much armor. I'm not sure if we will be able to kill him, but he's dead anyways. He will never reach us. This guy, I think this guy can be a right target. Okay, let's see how that goes. Let's unload this. So we will engage now. Hit this. And damn it, let's also use that. Yes, we have decreased his health. So now let's move there. Boom. You see how this little 5% accumulate, and now we have wrath, and this guy is gone. So we have also accumulated the rage stacks, which is coming from the buffs, and the food buff actually, and I will show you in the end. But let's take a look at what we have accomplished. So what was the situation before? We were in between these 2 forces, but after our assassin did her assassin things there, these enemies are out of the picture, because they will never reach us, and even if they will, meanwhile our team will just overwhelm them and destroy the entire flank. And we did this with our assassin, and we enabled our team to focus on the other group, while with the single character we essentially destroyed this entire group. And the good thing is, because we have a movement reset every time we do the instinctive throw, we can avoid them and just go back to safety, and then probably in the next round hit the other guys. So essentially we just have killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in a single turn. Not literally killed, but you know, they are already dead, so they have bleeding and fever, and they're slowed down and so on. So they are no longer a threat. We have neutralized the entire squad with the assassin. So we have lost a couple of Valor points though, but I think that's an acceptable trade-off there. So I think that was the great example of how assassins play in the regular battles. It gives you a lot of tactical flexibility, and by the same token she is effective in pretty much every combat situation. And you can apply the same principles we did here into different battle scenarios. As I've said before, the assassin is useful in almost every combat situation, and obviously I can show all of them, but I want to show you guys this specific pit fight where we just have one character and we are just surrounded by enemies and we have to kill all of them. Even though they are, these rats and plague things are also enemies of these human enemies, we still have to deal with all of them. And one of the ways I can think of to deal with that situation is to really use either some build which has like really high armor and guard, and then slowly grind them down. Maybe a brood or swordsman that is not affected with these poison damage and so on, or we should use the specifically assassin because of the reset movement thing. Because if you really think about it, if we pick any other damage dealer, let's say gunner or pugilist or berserker or anything, yes, they do a lot of damage and kill the enemies, but then there are just so many of them, and they will just come around and overwhelm us, and they have pretty good movement if you check that. So in this situation, the instinctive throw skill really shines, because we can just outrun them and then slowly kill them over the multiple turns. So idea here is, in this specific battle, is to just outrun them and find some kind of a safe spot. And here in this battle, it is this area. And if we look at that, so this guy cannot reach us there, also nor this guy, and of course not any of these enemies. So our goal is to just move there, eliminate these two, and then wait for the next round. So this is exactly what we are going to do, and I'm going to go there and start with this stunner, and I will apply this legionary ointment. So we will do the instinctive throw, and now this guy is bleeding. Next, what I can do is maybe just blind these guys. If I stand there, it doesn't work for this. So what I can do is really come in here. Actually, we don't need to blind them, so I just want to use this skill. So I will do this, and again we have applied the favor stack, because now the enemy is bleeding and they have lost 10% of their health. And now, because they are bleeding, I think we can start using this, apply the favor again, and then also now 15% of their health is gone. So now what I want to do is shoot him. Yes, so we have applied favor stacks there. Now we can move in and just finish the guy. Okay, he's out of the combat, so one threat is eliminated. Now we have to deal with the plague ridden. Now let's check their movements. Yes, they cannot come here. These rats as well, and we can just go in, and you know what, let's use this bomb. Boom, look at that. Almost dead. And look how good the misty oil is. The plague ridden had just a small amount of health left, but because we have the misty oil on that specific equipment, we deal 5% damage directly to their health. And now that is gone, we also have left this stab skill, which we didn't need to use. And now let's check their movement. And let's move there. Let me check again. We are safe. They cannot reach us. And now they will start fighting with each other, and next turn we can pick another target or group of targets and just eliminate them. That's how powerful the assassin is. We can essentially just move in, kill the enemies, and then move out. And that for the specific challenge, she's awesome. This build is really nice. And yeah, again, as I've said, this build is useful in almost every combat situation, and I cannot show them all, but you, even in this very disadvantageous situation, she really shines with all her abilities and damage that she is doing. Now let's check this boss fight situation here. She's assassin after all, and we should be able to take down the bosses, and that's what we're gonna do. And it is a slightly different from how we approach regular battles, because we have in most of the situations when we fight bosses we have a single target, and for that situation we switch our gear a little bit. We have the same equipment, same everything, but the only thing we switched up is the oil. So instead of the misty oil we have a bleeding oil, and we have then briny oil. I will talk about this specific gear change when we do the build breakdown, but right now you have to, what I want to say and you need to focus on is the bleeding oil. And what bleeding oil does is that it has a 50% chance with the bleeding oil concentrate to apply the effect of bleeding. And what is the effect of bleeding? That is removing 20% of target's maximum health immediately. So it is immediate damage, splash damage, not that we have to wait for the round to end. Also, when it comes to bosses, these damages are halved. So instead of 20%, boss is going to lose 10%. There is a 50% chance of that. Now you might ask, why not use the misty oil? And to answer that, we have to get a little bit into a math and how these percentages work. So with the misty oil we do regularly 5% damage to their health, but with bosses it is halved, so it's like 2.5% of their maximum health. And with the experiments I have done, it's just simply not enough to bring their entire health pool down. Now with the bleeding oil we might say, oh well, it has 50% of chance to do the bleeding effect, and you are absolutely right. There is a 50% chance, but we have to consider that we are doing all the damage to the single target. And without getting into a lot of details and math behind it, on average we are expected to deal 65% of damage to the bosses when we are fighting them. So statistically there is a better chance to deal more damage with the bosses with bleeding oil than we ever do with the misty oil. That's why I have switched it up. And if we are lucky, we might be able to just entirely eliminate the boss in a single round. So let's start and see how the fight will go on. So we move in. Again, we start with that because we want for our every attack to apply the bleeding. We start with this. The guy is bleeding. Unfortunately, bleeding oil didn't kick in, but that's okay. So now we can. What we have to do is, because the boss is bleeding, we have the ordeal, and what ordeal does, it will apply fever stacks on the subsequent attacks. So what we want to do is really use our skills to increase fever as much as possible. So we did this. Oh, you see? The 10% of the health is already gone. So this is the bleeding oil kicking in. So not only we have applied fever, 2 fever, which is increasing the damage that this guy is taking, but also we have removed the 10% of the health. So we want to, because fever is maxed at 50%, we want to apply 10 fever stacks before we do the final blow. So let's continue using the skills. So let's use the low blow. Now the enemy has the blackout. We have applied 4 fever. Next, what we can do is use the tactical order, essentially any skill to trigger the instinctive throw. So we do this. We have applied, boom, again Look at that, 20% is gone. The bleeding oil kicking in, and we have accumulated on the enemy 6 fever stacks. Then what we have to do is to use another skill, anything really, just to maybe heal our guy there. And now we will hit again, and now we have 8 fever stacks. Next, what we can do is, because the enemy is bleeding and we have a fever stacks there, we can throw the this skill right between the eyes. And the upgraded version has the bonus that the damage is doubled and critical hit is increased by 30%. So because the enemy is bleeding, we're going to do a lot of damage, and we will throw this. Boom, bleeding oil kicking in. Boom, again. Look at that. Okay, so we have, so the enemy still has the armor, enemy still has the guard, and we have accumulated 10 fever stacks. Also, because of the food buff that we have, we are accumulating rage, so the enemy is getting weaker and weaker, and we are getting the stronger and stronger. And again, as I've said, I will show you how to get this food essentially for free, so you can have it for all your damage dealers. Now, next is really to just move in and just hit with the regular attack. And unfortunately, yeah, bleeding oil didn't kick in, but that's okay. Now we can use taunt to just trigger more damage. And now we can run away. And yeah, the health is almost halved, but this is the final blow that we are going to do. It is a nail bomb, and as you see, it says it will deal 25% damage directly to health. But the interesting thing with this bomb and hand bomb blend is that they scale relative to our damage and crit, and also to the debuffs that the enemy has. So it means that because we have the 10 rage stacks and the enemy has 10 fever stacks, this damage will increase. And if you see that, the damage is not 25%, but even more. So we are going to instantly kill the enemy with just this throw. So we will throw this, and boom, enemy is gone. Okay, and that's how we play the percentages and use that with to our advantage. So no matter the boss health, because we are using the bleeding oil, which is affecting using the percentage, and because we are using the nail bomb that is against using percentages, we are going to have consistent results with almost any boss. I want to guys show you another boss battle, because, well, if you're still not convinced how powerful that build is, especially against bosses, I want to show you this. You might ask, well, Gio, why another boss? The bosses can be killed with pugilist, with gunner, with other builds, in a single turn. What's the deal here? And the deal here is that some of the bosses have ridiculous amounts of health. Look at that. Okay, no amount of direct damage is going to kill this guy in the first round. Okay, the numbers are just too high, and we are limited by our gear, our level, and so on, with the direct damage that we do. But because we are playing with percentages here, we will going to treat this guy same as we did with the previous boss. So let me demonstrate how we can just kill this guy. Again, we are using boss equipment for this fight, which is just bleeding oil, and we can just move in and start doing the same thing we did with the previous boss. So we apply this, and look, how small uh, damage we do to the enemy. And also, as the round goes on, this enemy will get stronger and stronger as they accumulate more blaze. So we have to do something about it. And now let's use the low blow to accumulate. Boom! Look at that. So the guy is already bleeding and lost 10% of the health. Look at the amounts of hit points that there is. So, and we did it with just an instinctive throw. To just remove that amount of points, you just have to hit this guy all day, every day, with the gunner or pugilist or whatever, not considering this. So next, what we're going to do is, because we don't have the ally there, we can use the, well, just waste this and use tactical order. Boom! We are lucky today. Look at this. 12% is gone. And look at the amount of hit points. So now this guy has 4 fever stacks. We can use this. Now there is 6. And now, unfortunately, we cannot use healing because I haven't... if I use this, then instinctive throw will not kick in. But that's okay. We can use right between the eyes. And look at the damage. Okay. So it's almost half of his health is almost gone. So now we can move in. The guy already has 10 fever stacks. We can use taunt. Boom! Another 10% gone. Look at that. Now we can use the wrath. Now we can. Whew! Again, it has kicked in. We are so lucky today, huh? So we hit this. Boom! Again. And again with the instinctive throw. That is, yeah, that is really fun. Look at the health. The stupid boss right there. We just move in. Yeah. We are not lucky at this time. But remember, we did our setup and now it's time for the final blow, the nail bomb, to nail this guy. So we have 10 rage stacks, they have 10 fever. We can just stand there and look at that. Look at that, the instant kill. Look how much damage we are doing. We will throw this. Boom! He's gone. Okay? And he couldn't do anything. Anything. That's how powerful it is. So, I don't think there is any other build, or at least I haven't encountered, that is as powerful with the bosses as this one is. With crafted gear, nothing legendary, no crazy armors or buffs or anything, just with regular craftable gear and oils. We just destroy bosses. So that's how powerful that is. And I think it's just a class that is useful in any situation. It gives you so much power and flexibility, even though it's Valor point expensive. We need to use lots of Valor points. The end result is justified, because you have seen what happened to this ridiculous boss there. Now let's talk about the actual build. Let's start with the attributes. First, we want to have a base willpower 15. Then we want to have a base movement up to 20, so we can move around, and then rest just goes into the crit. Because we are damage dealer and we want to be dealing as much damage as possible, so we are pushing critical hit up to 100% without any food buffs or anything. Just a standalone build with over 100% crit chance, and it is especially possible since they have added level 15 right here. Now let's move on to the traits. Well, we don't have much control over that, but if you are creating new character or you are hiring through tavern notices, we are going to go with the bloodthirsty because we will increase critical hit by 3%, and it is good, will contribute to the overall 100% crit chance. The rest can be farmed, but you will accumulate these over the gameplay. For example, duelist and the lively and the other ones that increase the dexterity and so on. So that's how we deal with the traits. Now let's move on to the gear. We have everything is crafted except the helmet stamp. So we have Acadian steel beret, we have Acadian steel waistcoat, and Acadian steel stiletto, and we have frag bomblet. So on the helmet we are using the legionary ointment skill, this helmet stamp. So we all of our attacks will be applying bleeding. For the armor layers, we use 3 times Smear's Brooch, which is increasing critical hit 15%, and that is also contributing to our 100% crit chance. Besides, we have the frag bomblet, which is applying slowdown, and it is decreasing 25% of the enemy's health. We just directly remove the health, and as you have seen, it works really well. And this damage also scales, as I've said before, with the buffs that we have and the debuffs that the enemy has. And this is also upgradable skill. Initially it is 20%, but if you upgrade this skill with the skill books, it becomes 25%. As for the oils, we have the two versions there. So first version is that we go for bleeding oil, and we go for the bleeding oil concentrate. So we have a 50% chance of bleeding effect kicking in, and we also have on top the briny oil, which is increasing our damage against the bleeding enemies by 50%. And it is especially useful against the boss fights. So another variation that I have shown you during the regular battles is exactly the same dagger, but we switch the oils. We have a perforating oil and we have a misty oil, because with and then we have their misty oil concentrate as well, because misty oil is guaranteed to deal 5% damage, and in the regular battle situations we are engaging not with one enemy but multiple enemies, and I found that it is more useful than bleeding oil, which can be quite tricky to apply, because it's not always kicking in. We only have 50% of the chance. And as for the perforating oil, again with the regular battles, even though the briny oil seems better, I found that in regular battles, i.e. not the boss battles, it is better to just bypass the enemy's guard and ignore the 50% of that. And it's useful for heavy targets that we might encounter in the field. Now let's move on to the actual skills. We have Valorous Victory. Every time we kill an enemy, we will get 1 Valor point back, and in regular battles it is quite useful because we will get some Valor points back. Then we obviously go for the Assassin. At level 5 we should go for Instinctive Throw. Then we go for the Low Blow. It is also amazing debuff for the enemies, because they we apply Blackout and they have a 50% chance to miss the next target. So even if we're not able to kill all of them, there is a chance that they will not deal damage to our units at all. At level 10 we go for Unstoppable, because we want to move between the enemy ranks and ours as well freely, so we can move back and forth, get back into the enemy lines and then get back to our position. And at level 12 we go for class specialization, which is ordeal, and every time unit attacks a bleeding or burning or poisoned unit, they also apply fever, and we accumulate fever stacks on the enemy, and this is especially useful for boss fights as you have seen them, because the damage that we have there with the nail bomb scales with that debuff that we have applied on the enemy. And then, well, on level 15 we do nothing, we just use the points to increase the crit chance. So also keep in mind that all of these skills are upgraded, which you can upgrade with the skill mastery books. Assassin class needs to be unlocked, but you can unlock this pretty early in the game once you win the arena fight, so it's not that hard to get. And overall, this is how our skills look. Also keep in mind that this entire play and the gameplay and this build is on expert difficulty. That is the one that I enjoy playing. I simply do not like extreme because of the Valor point consumption increase, which just, I think in my opinion, just breaks the game for me and it's just not fun overall. So this is how our build looks like. Now let's talk about the food buff I have mentioned previously. If we check this, it is lake fish whatever, which is essentially buffing all of our units to gain 1 rage whenever they attack, and we attack a lot, and we accumulate rage stacks, so our damage will increase as time goes on. So we acquire this not by crafting ourselves, but through the tavern. If we go there, there is the menu, and this is a specialty. So once we have unlocked the specialties in the tavern, we can assign it to one of our cooks, and whenever they create this specialty for the tavern, they will also create one for our troop as well, so we will get it for free. Another good option for the food buffs might be the other specialty, which is North Country which is applying 1 feet of rage. Well, essentially it is increasing critical damage by 5%. It is same as the Pirate's Lucky Charm helmet stamp, and it is good for the damage dealers, but as I've said before, I prefer to go the buff that is applicable for my entire team, not just only for specific units. So that's why I have used this food buff in gameplay, and I use it all the time, so you can acquire it with ease. Now let's talk about some gear variations. Let's say you don't have access to frag bomblet. It is acquired in pits, but if you don't have that, or you're not at that stage yet, another good alternative would be to use the hand bomblet. It is kind of inferior version of that. It is applying it will cause the enemies to lose 10% of their maximum health, and it is also applying bleeding when we crit, so it is also good option right there. If you do not have the Legionary's Ointment helmet stamp, then I guess you could go for Pirate's Lucky Charm, which is increasing crit damage, but then you will not be able to be as effective as with this. But if you don't have this yet, you can use Pirate's Lucky Charm, or essentially any helmet stamp that will increase your damage. If you don't have the Mir's Brush that is increasing critical hit, you can use the other alternatives. For example, the Layer of the Falcon, which is increasing critical hit, or the Red Layer, which is increasing movement and also critical hit. They are not as useful, or not as they are useful but not as potent as Mir's Brush. And then on top of that, to reach maybe 100%, you can use either the food buffs, which is suboptimal in my opinion, but you can go to that route before you reach the final state. That will increase your critical hit by 10%, and on top you can use instead of the bomb you can use the throwing Acadian steel throwing knife, which will grant us the critical hit chance 10%, so you can use critical hit by 10% there. As for the oils, we have a bleeding oil, and then on the regular variation for the regular battles we have the misty oil. If you don't have them, I think again it's not optimal, but you can go for maybe a poison oil and accumulate the poison stacks, but then it doesn't work as well with this build. It works well with the poisoner build, which I will show at some point, but you can go for that as well. As for the briny oil, if you don't have that, then you can go for perforating oil, which is also great, and we are actually using it for the regular battles, and it's easier to come by than briny oil. It is from pits, even though you can get it pretty early in the pit fights. It can be still a challenge to acquire, but perforating oil is a still good option right there. Apart from that, any legendary loot that you have, for example daggers or armor layers, can make this build even stronger. And of course, if you have that and if you have access to that, you should absolutely use them. What I have shown you there is just a basic build with a craftable gear, and of course if you apply more powerful gear, armor or equipment or anything, it will become even deadlier and useful in battles. But with a basic build, I personally am really happy. I don't bother to chase those gears, even though I have them, not right there, but in the stash, in the trading post that you have throughout the game. I have different variations of the daggers and so on, but this works just fine, and to me personally that's okay. But of course, if you want to push the build further, just use whatever you feel like will make this build stronger. So overall, I think this is amazing build. I have used it in my playthroughs multiple times, and it never disappoints. And I feel pretty happy with that. It gives you lots of options, to tactically maneuver around the battlefield, deal with bosses, essentially things that would, in theory, Assassin would do. It's really fun to play, very useful, and if you have one ranger in the squad, I would highly recommend to use go for the assassin. Even though some folks really like to go for the cutthroat, I personally never was able to make it work. So technically you can use this skill every time you kill the enemy, but the damage is really low, and with the basic gear and equipment, I'm not sure how one is able to push that so far that you can kill enemies in one shot. So I would always go for the assassin. Maybe in the future I will also do the video about the cutthroat. I will experiment more and see how that goes, but I highly recommend having an assassin in your team if you have a ranger in your squad. So I think that's it for this video. I've discussed everything I wanted to say about this build. If you have comments or questions, or just some ideas, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. Click the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends.